Hello everybody, welcome back to the GSMC Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. So we just got done talking about the U.S. Track and Field Olympic Trials, day 1 to 4. And now we're going to talk about the U.S. Women's Olympic Trials. I don't know why, I literally sometimes cannot speak. I sincerely apologize. Okay, so we have already recapped day 1 to day 5 in last week's videos, so we're going to continue where we left off and start with day 6 that took place from the 15th to the 23rd, by the way. So we're just going to focus on the finals because low-key that's what's the most interesting. Just as a reminder, the top 2 in each event qualify for the Olympics, but the U.S. team can have 26 athletes per gender, so that means that if someone qualifies for more than one event and would rather only race for one of their events in the games, then the 3rd, 4th, and maybe even 5th place finishers in the trials matter. So in that case, we are going to still talk about the people that finish in places that aren't the top 2. That will be obviously decided later, especially when relays are official, because that will also, influence how many events everyone is in. Okay, so now let's actually get started. Okay, day 6. Let me pull up the pictures for you guys. Okay, so day 6, Regan Smith added another event to her Olympic schedule, taking the win in the women's 200 butterfly final. She was off the 2 minutes, 4.91 seconds championship record that she set during the semifinals, but still won the race by nearly a second. Smith was at the heart of the action the entire race. She went out the start in 27.72 seconds, turning first. Emma Stickland took control of the race on the second 50, turning in 59.40 seconds at the halfway mark, 0.05 seconds ahead of Smith. Alex Shackle had a huge third 50, splitting 32.39 seconds to join Stickland and Smith at the front of the race. Shackle turned for home in first place, with Smith running second and Stickland third. Smith dug in over the final 50 meters, splitting 33.52 seconds to get the win. Shackle held on for second in 2 minutes, 6.69 seconds, and while she likely already qualified in the women's 4x200 free relay, this swim gives her an individual event in Paris. Stickland ran out of gas on the last 50, splitting 35.58 seconds. That gave Lindsay Looney more than enough room to catch her, as she was the fastest closing split in the field. In a slower final than expected, Looney was actually the only one to drop from semifinals and swam a lifetime best of 2 minutes, 7.03 seconds. Also that night was the 200 breaststroke final. Kate Douglas brought the crowd to their feet in the women's 200 breaststroke final. Douglas was out like a shot, opening a race in 31.58 seconds, already 0.55 seconds under world record pace. She was still under the world record pace at the halfway point, splitting 1 minute, 6.93 seconds to Shikonova's 1 minute, 7.28 seconds. For the record, 1 minute, 6.93 seconds would have been 5th in the 100 breaststroke final. Douglas fell off the world record pace on the third 50 at 35.88 seconds, but was still almost 2 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. She came home in 36.55 seconds, breaking the championship record that she set in prelims of this race with a 2 minutes, 19.46 seconds. She got closer to her American record as well, missing it just by 0.16 seconds. The race for second was between Lily King and Alex Walsh. King was ahead of Walsh for the first 100 meters, but Walsh turned on the gas during the third 50 with a 36.43 split, making the final turn 0.72 seconds ahead of King. But the Indiana native came charging home, throwing down a field best 36.50 on the closing 50 to get her hands on the wall ahead of Walsh in 2 minutes, 21.93 seconds. Walsh finished in third in 2 minutes, 22.38 seconds, showing a new lifetime best. Okay, now I know I said that we were only going to talk about the finals, but the women's 200 backstroke semifinals was really interesting, and it was a moment in the spotlight for Regan Smith once again, so I wanted to mention it. Less than an hour after the 200 butterfly final, Smith was back up for the 200 backstroke semifinals. She improved from her prelim swim by 2.89 seconds, powering ahead of the rest of the winners in her semifinal with a 2 minutes, 6.41 seconds, good for the fastest time heading into the following night's finals. She took the win in the second semifinal, almost a second ahead of Curzan, who posted a 2 minutes, 7.47 seconds to qualify the final. In third, Tokyo Olympian and 2022 world silver medalist Phoebe Bacon won the first semifinal, improving her season best by 0.01 seconds. She earned the win in that semi ahead of Katie Grimes, who was doing well in her 200 backstroke side quest. Grimes broke 2 minutes 8 seconds for the first time that night, swimming a 2 minutes 7.75 seconds. She's sitting fourth right now, or then, and could challenge for a roster spot in this race, considering how she would do in the finals, which we will talk about. So it took 2 minutes 8.87 seconds from Kennedy Noble to make it into the final. Though she missed the final, 14-year-old Audrey Devereaux swam a lifetime best of 2 minutes 9.80 seconds to move up to the fourth all-time in the 13 to 14 age group. Let's now move on to the backstroke, the 200 backstroke finals of day 7. Regan Smith, obviously, no surprise here, took control of this race from the start. She opened in a 29.16 seconds, 0.18 seconds under Kaylee McCowan's world record pace. She picked up more time on the second 50 with a 31.28, flipping in 1 minute, 0.44 seconds, and 0.29 seconds ahead of McCowan. McCowan always brings a strong back half to races, and it was on the third 50 that Smith began to fall off the pace. But she still had a commanding lead of almost a second ahead of the rest of the field, where there was a close race developing for second between Claire Curzan and Phoebe Bacon. Smith said after the race that she ran out of gas on the final 50 meters, but she still held it together with a 32.90 split, the fastest in the field. She touched in 2 minutes, 5.16 seconds, earning her first Olympic 200 backstroke berth. Meanwhile, Curzan was running second for the first 185 meters of this race. She held just a 0.03 second advantage over Bacon, which looked bigger as they came down the stretch, but Bacon found an extra gear in the closing meters, splitting 32.92 seconds to Curzan's 33.02. At the touch, it was Bacon who became the two-time Olympian in 2 minutes 6.27 seconds, getting the better of Curzan's 2 minutes 6.34 seconds. Bacon's time now ranks 5th in the world this year. Also, day 7 held the IM semifinals. This is like one of my favorite races because it's like a combination of so many different things going on. You know, it's like, it's more chaotic, I feel like. Anyway, at this point, I just am a hypocrite for saying that we're only going to talk about the finals. So, sorry about that. Anyway, so the first semifinal featured Tori Husk, Kate Douglas, and Beta Nelson. It was Husk who held the lead through the first 100 meters. She got out to a fast start on the butterfly leg, splitting 27.20, and backed it up with a 32.60 on the backstroke leg. Douglas turned at the halfway point in third place and got to work on the breaststroke leg. Douglas split 36.89, pulling the lead ahead of Husk. Husk made a push at the start of the freestyle leg, but Douglas motored home in 30.55. She clocked at 2 minutes 8.53 seconds, which held up to give her lane 4 for tomorrow night's final. Or not tomorrow night. Why am I saying tomorrow night? The following night. In the second semifinal, Alex Walsh swam away from the field and posted 2 minutes 8.74 seconds, touching 21 seconds behind Douglas. Husk's 2 minutes 9.43 seconds moved her through to the final in third. Also making the final was Beta Nelson, who swam a huge personal best of 2 minutes 10.83 seconds to qualify in fourth. Zoe Dixon swam a big lifetime best as well, posting a 2 minutes 11.64 seconds to earn a second swim. On day swim was the 200 IM finals. This was an absolutely amazing race. Kate Douglas smashed her U.S. Open record from 2023 and became the fourth fastest performer in history with a blistering 2 minutes 6.79 seconds. She's just the sixth woman in history to get under the 2 minutes 7 seconds barrier in this event. She and her Virginia teammate Alex Walsh went first and second in this event, with Walsh punching her ticket to Paris and joining G. Walsh on an Olympic team together. Douglas jumped on the race from the start. She opened the race in 26.78 seconds, about 5/10 under world record pace. By the 100, though, A. Walsh had inched up on Douglas. Douglas split 33.27 on backstroke to A. Walsh's 32.74, maintaining just a 0.13 lead. A. Walsh continued to push on the breaststroke leg, but Douglas gained a little more room with a 36.57 split, widening the gap to 2/10 at the final turn. Douglas brought her race home in 30.17 seconds, shaking off Walsh and speeding to her final time in 2 minutes 6.79 seconds. A. Walsh split 31.04 seconds in the freestyle leg. It's the third slowest freestyle split in this final, but Walsh had built up more than enough of a gap during the rest of the race that she touched second without any challenges around her. She clocked 2 minutes 7.86 seconds, a time she described herself as happy with for now, but continued that she was excited to see what she can do in Paris as the pair looked to make a second straight Olympic podium. Isabel Ivy, meanwhile, charged in lane 1 on the freestyle leg. She closed in 29.92 seconds, moving from 5th at the last turn all the way into 3rd. Ivy posted 2 minutes 10.09 seconds, a second personal best in this event at the meet. The last event on day 8 was the 800 freestyle finals. Katie Ledecky joined Michael Phelps as the only swimmer who have won an event 4 times in the U.S. Olympic trials after coming in first in this event. Ledecky posted in 8 minutes 15.12 seconds en route to her 4P and won the race by over 6 seconds. While the 2nd through 6th place qualifiers for the finals were separated by less than a second going into the race, this did not turn out to be a particularly close race at all. Paige Madden settled into 2nd at the first turn and stayed there for the entire race. She's had an excellent trials after having a tough couple years at the Tokyo Olympics, but now she's confirmed she's a 2nd individual race in Paris after finishing 2nd in the 400 free and earning a spot on the 4x200 freestyle relay. Madden clocked a huge personal best for 2nd, swimming 8 minutes 20.71 seconds. 2023 Worlds finalist Jillian Cox touched 3rd in 8 minutes 22.97 seconds. The last day was Sunday, day 9, which held the very much anticipated 50 freestyle finals. At least I was very much waiting for this event. Simone Manuel took her swimming comeback to a new level. She has already qualified for Team USA in the 4x100 freestyle relay, but her win here in the 50 freestyle gave her a chance to contest the 50 freestyle for the 3rd straight Olympics. In 2021, Manuel punched her ticket to Tokyo. Oh my gosh, I just forgot for a second when the last Olympics were. No, where the last Olympics were. Oh my goodness, now I can't even speak. Basically what I'm saying is she had this opportunity in the Tokyo Olympics, and now she has this opportunity again in the Paris Olympics. So this is her fastest time since the 2019 World Championship, and she took the win in 24.13 seconds. Both Gretchen Walsh and Tori Huss added from their semifinal times, which would have gotten 1st and 2nd in this final. Despite adding 0.09 seconds, Walsh was still able to get her hand on the wall in 2nd place with 24.15 seconds. She was 0.02 seconds off Manuel's time and the swim in her second fastest of her career. Abby Wheatsell had a strong swim, taking 3rd in 24.26 seconds, knocking 0.01 seconds off her season best and finishing ahead of Huss 24.33 seconds. I'm repeating that, 15-year-old, like that's insane. 15-year-old Riley Arisman finished 5th in 25.62 seconds. Now I know she doesn't qualify for the Olympics, but she's 15 years old. That is insane. So we're now going to move on to our last segment of the day where we're going to talk about the U.S. diving Olympic trials. Before we get into that, we're going to take a short break, of course, and I will see you guys very soon.